Hey, welcome back. Today I wanted to show you how you can make a quick and simple dress, or you can make a top out of it. I made this top with the same concept, except I put a V neckline in the front. You can see that I used a white thread so you can see it, but it's the same simple concept, so you can make tops, dresses, whatever you want. It's best to make it out of a knit fabric though. All right, so for the first thing that you're going to do is measure across your butt, like your whole shoulder, but go out a little bit because you want the sleeves to kind of come off your shoulders. So you have to add for that. So you got to figure out how much you want the sleeves to come off your shoulder, and then you're going to measure down. So for the top, you will be shorter. For the dress, you could do that. And if you were doing a dress and you think your shoulder width that you put across is not going to be big enough, you might want to measure your hips to make sure that everything fits well there. But generally when you do it, you should have enough space so that the shoulder measurement that you took should go over your hips. All right, so then what you're going to do is make sure you're cutting it the stretchy side. The stretchiest side is going to go across the way of the shoulder measurement that you made, not up and down, but from side to side. All right, so I folded my fabric in half because I'm going to cut both the front and the back exactly the same. You can cut it different based on how you want your neckline to be. For me, I want kind of a off the shoulder, like oversized kind of look, because right now I'm all about comfort in everything that I'm wearing. So I'm just doing that. All right, so you measure across your fabric to make sure it's the length, and then you're going to add an inch in the front and in the back. So I added about 2 inches. If you're not going to do that wide of a seam allowance, you can put about a ½ inch on each side. So you can do that. But I measured an inch for the seam allowance for both the front and the back. And then you just want to double check how long you want it to be. I wanted mine to be super long, so I made sure it came down to my foot. But once I put the hem in, it'll be around my ankles or so it won't be dragging on the ground. To cut the neckline, I did it real simple because I'm going to be doing the front and the back the same. So I folded the fabric in half again. It was already laid front to front, so I folded both pieces in half so that I had the center, and then just from the center, I cut the neckline. I came down about 3 inches. You can come down less if you want, but I came down about 3 inches because, like I said, I want mine to have an off the shoulder look. And then you want to make sure that you account for your shoulder width too. So you want to come out from the edge and make sure that you have enough for your shoulders for it to go across the whole thing. And, remember, it's going to be draping off of your shoulder for the arm part. But I cut my neckline kind of just a curve that went up back into the shoulder part. So I came down to 3 inches and then just eyeballed it back up into the shoulder part, and then that was it. So once you're done with that, then you can fold it back flat and you'll see both of your pieces. And like I said, I had mine folded in half, so you want to make sure too that you cut the pieces into 2 pieces because it's a front and the back. So I also cut down that side there so that it made it into 2 pieces. But this is what my neckline is looking like now, and you can see it looks really big. So if you don't want your neckline that big, measure around your neck and cut it smaller, but it has to still get over your head, so you want to make sure it's not too tight. But now I have both of my pieces. I have the front and the back, and I'm going to do the neckline on them. I'm going to fold mine twice. You don't have to fold it twice, but because it's like oversized and stuff, like God forbid somebody looks in the inside, I want to make sure it looks neat, So you fold it over one time, sew it down, and then fold it over again and sew it down. So I'm going to do that with both the front and the back. I'm also serging the edge, which you really don't have to do with knits because they don't really fray or anything like that. But I'm always just doing extra steps. For what reason? I don't know. But if somebody opens it up, they'll see that I completely finished it off neatly. But you don't have to do this step at all because you're going to be folding it in and then folding it in again. So it's not really going to be visible, that part, but I did it anyway. All right, so once you're done with that, like I said, you're going to fold it in, and you're just going to stitch it. You should pin it to make sure that everything is nice and even, but that takes so much time. So sometimes I do skip pinning and just try to pay attention when I'm sewing so that everything lines up. So I'm kind of like using my finger to lay it down, keep it down straight as I'm going over it, and not letting my finger feed into the needle while I'm doing it. So I'm folding the first time, and then I'm going to fold it over again, and then that'll be it for the neckline. And of course, you're doing it with both the front and the back. All right, so now you have your neckline done, and then you're just going to match up your shoulders right here. So I'm holding the camera with one hand, but so you're gonna match up the neckline from the front to the back, and then the side to the side to the arm, and then you're just going to sew it. You could sew it straight across. You could sew a straight line, do a zigzag stitch, or you could serge it in a straight line. But you're gonna do both shoulders, so that everything matches up, and then you'll go on to the next step. Oh, I wanted to show you my dirty nails. If you're confused as to why my nails look dirty, it's because I craft. So it's like paint and stuff in there. I don't have dirty hands on camera. All right, so back to the dress. So you'll put it on right now to see how far you want the armholes to open up. So it's based on what you want. And then you can also come in to curve yourself. I kind of left it like a loose feel because I want the top to be loose and flowy kind of. So I didn't do it too tight in the inside. So I came down and just sewed straight down, and then you can cut away the excess when you're done, because you'll put it back on. Make sure you still like the way it fits, and then go on to the next step. But this is it, and you can see that it's like off the shoulder. So I serged mine, came out, and then you can see you have kind of an armhole here right now. So with that, then you're going to do it the same way you did the neckline. You're going to fold it over one time. You can also just fold it over the one and leave it. You can do it for both the neck and the thing. But I'm going to fold mine over twice like I did the neckline. Fold it over, sew it, fold it over, sew it. And I'm going to do both. And then that'll be it for that part. All right, so now you have both of your armholes done. You have your neckline done, and then you will just go onto your hem. So you tried it on a couple of times. You made sure everything fits the way you want it to fit. You make sure the length is the way you want the length to be, and then you go on to your hem. I'm going to do it the same way I did the armhole and the neckline. Fold up and fold up. You can do the hem a little thicker. I feel like when you do it thicker, it has a little more weight and it stays in place. I don't know, could be in my head, I don't know. But you do the hem, and then you have this. You can see on the mannequin, it doesn't look like it's giving her a shape, but when I put it on myself, it gives me great shape. And then I'm gonna show you how you can wear it. If you want it, you can do like a cow kind of neck. But when you do cow necks, you need to do an inner, like a facing in the inside. You can do a self-facing or something so that it looks better. But this is it. You have it done. You can, like I said, you can make it to a shirt or a dress. And I styled it with a jacket, with a belt. So if you like, please give it a big old thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.